Welcome to the Pros.com 2012 virtual event series. My name is Irini Kukia and I'm a full-time freelance translator as well as an outsourcer and a trainer on Pros.com. Are you working for the first time as a freelance translator? Here are a few points to pay attention to when you start working with outsourcers. What to pay attention to when you apply for a job. What to pay attention to during a cooperation, what do they expect to receive, and what do they want to or do not want to see after delivery. Imagine you were outsourcing. What would you expect yourself? During application, what do they expect to see? They expect to see on your resume your name and your last name, your educational background and your diplomas, your source and target languages. In other words, which language into which language you do translate, your native language or languages if you are bilingual, your specialty fields, your CAT tools, the ones you work with and you know how to work with, and of course your own a legal license for, and any references, something which is optional. Not all outsourcers require references. What they do not really care about is your marital status or how you look like. Since you're a freelance translator, you are not working for them on site, so they shouldn't care about how you look or what your marital status is or how many kids you are. They don't want to know anything about any irrelevant hobbies, for example, if you go windsurfing or whatever, unless this is related to the specific job you applied for. For example, if you are also painting in your free time, this might be interesting if you have a project which is related to art, or if you are practicing yoga, for example, and your project is related to yoga. They don't want to see endless lists of clients, nor endless lists of projects and tasks you have completed, nor endless lists of publications. Just make a brief list with all the things you have done, something the outsourcer can have an overview of your previous experience. Treat your client as king. This is rule number 1 in all professions. During cooperation, what do they expect to receive? They expect to receive a document that complies with the given terminology, formatting, structure, and or any other limitations or exclusions. For example, you are translating a medical text and there is specific terminology to be used. You have to use it. If you see any mistakes, please contact your project manager to consult with him if any mistakes need to be corrected or if the client insists on this terminology. Keep the formatting. The formatting of the target product must be exactly the same as the source product unless the client requests something else. The same applies to structure. And limitation applies, for example, if you are translating subtitles, there needs to be a character limitation that cannot be exceeded, otherwise the subtitles will not fit into the frame. Always proofread your document before sending it. I received numerous translations that have not been proofread, and this is very difficult to check, especially if you don't speak the language. For example, I speak Greek, German and English, and if there's, for example, something in Swedish, I cannot proofread it, nor can accept or reject the corrections, for example, the Microsoft Word proofing tool suggests, because I don't speak the language. Spelling and grammar errors are completely unacceptable. Always proofread your work. Even if you're going to be 5 minutes late, it's better to send them a proofread document than to send it as it is in order to meet the deadline. I'm talking about 5 minutes, I'm not talking about 5 hours, 50 minutes or whatever. And normally you shouldn't be late, but this is in case of an exception. You should always deliver the clean, unclean document as well as the translation memory, unless the customer only wants the clean version and does not care about the rest. This is something you need to agree with the customer or the project manager. You should send your invoice unless you have an agreement to invoice them at the end of the month or at the end of the fortnight. Your invoice should include all legal information, for example, the name your company is registered to, your VAT ID, and your correct bank account information. I'm telling you this because last time I was trying to send money to 2 translators I recently used, and I could not send the money because the IBAN and big numbers were wrong. You won't believe it, but they were wrong indeed. I've sent them a message and they corrected the mistakes. But imagine if there's an outsourcer that has to pay hundreds and hundreds of translators, and they get caught up with the wrong IBAN or big number, and they cannot pay you. Please verify the information you send. All the information you send to an outsourcer is correct, from A to Z. After delivery, what they do want or do not want to see. Don'ts. Don't start contacting the clients directly. I mean, for example, there's a translation agency that assigns a job for you that is for Coca-Cola, for example. Don't contact their client directly. Never, ever. Don't publish their clients as your clients on your resume. I've seen this as well. For example, we have an indirect client that is, for example, Audi, and your direct client, your outsourcer, is XY Translations. Your client is XY Translations, not Audi, so you cannot reference Audi as a client you have worked for. You have worked for them indirectly. And if this is the case and you need to state that you've done a translation, for example, for Audi, please indicate that it was through a translation agency. Don't start talking about their low rates. Don't accept their work in the first place if you disagree with the rates. From the moment you accept the assignment, this means you accept their rates and the terms and conditions. Nagging afterwards does not help anybody. Do's. They like happy freelancers and they do appreciate if you spread the word. If you also recommend this outsourcer to a colleague, for example, when the colleague applies and sends a nice cover letter to this outsourcer, they could say, Mr. or Mrs. etc. has recommended you, and this is one of the reasons I would like to apply as a freelance translator at your company. Be friendly, even if they are late in payment. A friendly reminder is always welcome, even a second one. After that it gets serious, so there are other things you have to do. But always be friendly. Why spoil your relationship if somebody was sloppy and simply forgot this payment? Send them a nice reminder and a second one after a couple of days if it needs to be, and then you'll see from there on how you're gonna handle the situation if they don't respond to that. Be accessible, check your emails frequently, don't disappear. If you are a freelance translator, a full-time freelance translator, you're required to be accessible. You cannot be accessible, for example, from 10 to 12 a.m. and then disappear the rest of the day, because your client might need you at 1 p.m. and you're not accessible. Not all clients like calling you on your mobile phone to ask if you're available or not. You should at least have a smartphone to check your emails if this is possible. Keep in touch even if you haven't talked to them recently. You need to be in contact with your client even if they don't have jobs that fit your qualifications in matter of language or specialty or whatever. Maybe a client sends you a project in January and you hear again from them in December or 2 years after because nothing suitable came up till then. It's nice to send them a Christmas card or an Easter card or a birthday card if you have a closer relationship. This way they think of you and they think positively of you in any case. These are a few tips I could offer you so far. If you would like to learn more, there are a couple of seminars upcoming. For example, both of them are in Greek this time. One on the 28th of September on how to use the internet as a dictionary, a thesaurus or a glossary, and on October 5th on the use of CAT tools for beginners. There we will have a brief presentation of SDL Trados, WordFast and Across. A simple introduction of how to create a project and to work on it. Thank you very much for your time, and I wish you to enjoy this virtual conference, to meet many clients and many new friends in tourism branch. Thank you for your time and have a nice rest of your day. Bye!